There are only 100 days left before the new year, and in a cozy corner of a small town lives a young girl named Valya. Her life seemed like a magical fairy tale, but a twist turned her world upside down. Due to an accident, Valya lost everything precious. Fate, acting as a great judge, punished her, and thus only a small plot of land remained, serving as a symbol of her hope. But in this piece of land lies a dream to celebrate the new year in her own home. Valya got a job and is now a newcomer in the office world. She was a quiet office mouse, plain and unremarkable. Her colleagues, mostly men, saw her more as a work buddy than as a woman. Despite this grey routine, Valya sparkled inside. In the office, she was diligent and responsible, while unexpected surprises hid behind her back. She not only worked, but also cared for the emotional climate in the team. She organized collections for gifts for colleagues on their birthdays and sometimes arranged fun events after work. Amid the dull walls of the office, Vasya stood out. And the only person who saw Valya not just as a buddy, but as his best friend. They both preferred active entertainment, ice skating, sports, and anything that came to mind. Vasya secretly harbored feelings for Valya, but he never expressed his intentions. Valya, on the other hand, perceived Vasya as just a pleasant companion for her free time. It never occurred to her that there could be something more between them. For her, Vasya had always been the person with whom she could have a good time and nothing more. When Valya was leaving work, her old friend, whom she hadn't seen in many years, approached her. The friend looked elegant. The meeting happened, and Evelina suggested to Valya to escape the hustle and spend some time in a cafe. In a warm atmosphere, they decided to share their stories about how life had unfolded during all the time they had not seen each other. During the conversation, Evelina unexpectedly drew attention to the fact that Valya is still not married. The question about the reasons for this caused some confusion. At first, Valya denied it. They say that she doesn't need anyone, that she is her own mistress. But gradually it became clear that there had been no special courtship or attention from men. Evelina, using a strict tone, expressed her point of view, saying that a man should be won over on her own, rather than waiting for an invitation to go to the registry office. In her opinion, such an approach could take too much time, and she even joked that by the time she retires, Nadia might not receive a proposal. And then Evelina demonstrated how to take the initiative herself. With ease and elegance, she began to flirt with one of the men in the cafe, and this approach led the man to suggest joining the girls himself. But Evelina declined, citing an important conversation with a friend, and afterwards shared valuable advice, emphasizing that one should be active rather than just being born beautiful. And, in her opinion, work is a great place to meet people where one can get to know someone from different sides. The next day at work during the break, Valya and her best friend Vasya were playing chess, but when they finished, Evelina suddenly joined her for lunch and started asking about Vasya. However, as soon as Valya mentioned that Vasya holds a low position, Evelina told her not to continue. After that, they went up to Valya's office, sat at her desk, and began discussing other men in the office. The lady's gaze fell on the most handsome guy. However, Valya immediately stated that she had no chance, as he does not notice her and does not even consider her a person. Evelina assured Valya that she could help her win his attention by providing a questionnaire to fill out, after which she left. But in the hallway, she ran into Vasya. Evelina asked him a question. She asked, what would he do if he met a beautiful woman on the street? Would he walk past her or invite her on a date? Vasily hesitated a bit, pondering his answer. Then Evelina, seeing his hesitation, said with a slight smile that everything was now clear, and left, leaving Vasily with raised eyebrows, pondering what had just happened. Valya, trying to fill out the questionnaire from Evelina, encountered numerous questions regarding how handsome the men from Vladislav's office are. Instead of thinking long time, she decided to approach the issue more originally. Valya began to ask the same questions to all her colleagues, but her attention was focused only on Vladislav's answers. This method allowed her to obtain the information she was looking for while maintaining the intrigue and not revealing her true intentions. After the workday in the evening, Valya went to visit Evelina. There, Evelina shared her advice that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Deciding to put this principle into practice, they prepared delicious pies together. The aroma of the fillings filled the kitchen, creating a cozy atmosphere. Valia and Evelina happily engaged in making pies while discussing various topics. After finishing the cooking, Evelina advised Valia to take the pies with her to work to treat her colleagues, especially Vladislav. Suddenly, Evelina's husband walked into the kitchen. Charming and gallant, he immediately became the center of attention. Evelina seized the opportunity to flirt with him, noting his merits and praising him for various qualities. After he left, she told Valia that men should always be praised because, in her opinion, they love compliments even more than women do. Therefore, she advised Nadia to give Vladislav as many compliments as possible. For example, emphasize his bravery, talent, nobility, and other positive qualities. By the way, Valia has already started her own construction project. Thanks to her hard work and the money she earned, she was able to gradually improve her life with new acquisitions. Another workday arrived, and Valia brought her delicious pies to treat all her colleagues. However, Vladislav, to her surprise, refused to take a pie for some reason. Deciding to find out the reason, Valia decided to approach him personally and offer one. Although Vladislav was hesitant, he couldn't resist Valia's persuasion. She offered him a pie in exchange for counting, an extra hour of work time for him. After making such an unusual deal, they exchanged smiles and Vladislav finally agreed to the treat. Unfortunately, Valia did not receive thanks from Vladislav, but another colleague of hers was thrilled with the treat. After work, Evelina decided to take Valia to the store to find her a more sexy outfit. But Valia found everything too revealing, and she didn't like anything she tried on. So Evelina decided to choose an outfit for Valia herself. Returning home, Valia looked in the mirror and said how beautiful and attractive she was, how much she pleased men. After all, that was what Evelina had taught her to do. However, unexpectedly for herself, she began to doubt her new outfit and decided not to wear it. When she arrived at work during the break, she headed to Vasily for their usual game of chess. But halfway there, she changed her mind and went to Vladislav, who was playing video games with another colleague. She told Vladislav that she would like to learn how to play games on the console. Vladislav began to doubt that Valia would succeed. However, Valia, seemingly unaware of his doubts, started to praise Vladislav for how well he was playing. At that moment, Evelina called and asked if Valia had worn her new outfit to work and if she was spending her break with Vladislav, and she said that they would see each other again in the evening, after which Valia continued her conversation with Vladik. In the evening, both ladies dressed up and headed to the club where they attracted the attention of men. However, Evelina shared with Valia another important skill, the ability to reject those who are not suitable. After all, her goal is Vladislav. The next day, a happy Valia arrived at work in her new outfit, and all her colleagues were extremely surprised to see Valia in such a stylish appearance. Many of them started to communicate with Valia in a different way, showing interest in why she changed her image drastically. Valia seemed to amaze everyone as she took out a pie she had prepared from her bag and began to treat everyone. When only one piece was left, Valia approached Vladislav to offer it to him. But suddenly, another colleague swiftly snatched the last piece. The surprise in Valia's eyes was so great that she didn't say a word. After everyone had a snack, a colleague approached Valia and asked if she was trying to make a move on Vladislav. At first, Valia denied it, but then she decided to clarify if it was that obvious. The man replied that yes, and said that Vladislav was not a match for her. She would be better off considering Alexei. He offered his help, saying that he could even hint to Alexei about it. In the evening, Valentina, as usual, went to visit her friend. There, they practiced autogenic training together. Standing in front of the mirror, we repeat the affirmation of our charm and attractiveness. At that moment, Evelina's husband appeared. A man asked what they were doing, but the girls quickly changed the subject. Evelina asked her husband to meet Valia after work tomorrow to spark Vladislav's interest and encourage him to pay attention to Valentina. Evelina's phone rang. It turns out that she helps not only Valia with her personal life, but also other people. This is, so to speak, her hobby, as Evelina works as a psychologist. Valia's situation is progressing more and more. She is working hard, earning money to gradually realize her plans and build her house. When Valia headed to work in the morning, she walked and repeated the words that she was the most charming and attractive, that all the men were chasing after her. Suddenly, her friend Vasily approached her. He was glad to see her. With a smile and ease, they happily chatted on the way to work. By the way, Vasily asked why she no longer comes during breaks to play chess. Valia did not answer him, but asked how he liked her new outfit, to which the man said that she was very beautiful, that she had been beautiful, and now she was even more beautiful. At work, the boss announced that 3 people needed to be selected for a business trip. Vladislav and another colleague said they were ready to go. Valia joined the conversation and said that she was also ready to go with them. During the break, Valia looked from a distance at the table where Vasily was sadly playing chess by himself. She sighed and decided not to approach. In her heart, she had a desire to play with him, but remembering Evelina's instruction to take breaks with Vladislav, she went to him. Nevertheless, she was in a sad mood and simply sat down silently next to her. Evening came and her husband Evelina was already waiting for Valia at her workplace. But Valia even forgot about this meeting and headed in the other direction. However, the man caught up with her and together they walked towards her house. Vladislav happened to be walking behind and saw everything. Evelina deliberately stopped and kissed Valia's hand. Unfortunately, this moment was noticed not only by Vladislav but also by Vasily, who secretly had feelings for Valia. At the same time, another colleague started telling Alexei that it would be a good idea to pay attention to Valia. He is single and she is not married. They could make a good couple. Alexei said that yes, Valia cooks deliciously, but he started to doubt his abilities. He also saw how she was welcomed. A colleague suggested to Alexei that he should start taking care of himself, just like Valia. He suggested wearing a nice suit. The next day, Alexei appeared at work like a man from a fashion magazine. His well-groomed appearance and stylish suit immediately caught the attention of everyone in the office. It is not surprising he became interested in Valia and could not contain curiosity, asking who met her yesterday. Valia smiled as she told him about an acquaintance who offered her his hand and heart. However, she emphasized that she does not intend to marry even for convenience, as that man is very wealthy. True love is important to her. Alexei tried to arrange with Vladislav for him to go on the business trip instead. He even expressed his honest feelings, admitting that he wants to go because of Valia, whom he likes much. However, Vladislav refused him, explaining that he and his colleagues had other plans for this business trip. He and his friend want to meet beautiful girls there. During the business trip, while they were waiting to be checked in, Valia tried to feed her 2 male colleagues. But they were not interested in her cooking. They were all trying to meet someone, so much so that when it was their turn, they convinced the girl at the reception, Valia, to place her somewhere far from them. In the end, she was placed with a stranger, but Valia quickly became friends with her, and the new friend invited her over in the evening to meet 2 guys. Valia was not thrilled about the idea, but her friend insisted. When they arrived, Valia discovered that these guys were her colleagues. All 3 tried to act as if nothing had happened. In the tense atmosphere, they drank coffee, and Valia quickly took her friend away from there to avoid awkwardness. The next day at work in the office during the business trip, the men were as smooth as silk. They asked Valia for forgiveness and said that they would do all the work themselves. When the business trip was over, Valia went to visit her friend Evelina. Evelina handed her 2 tickets to a concert that were practically unavailable. She gave them to Valia with the intention that she would invite Vladislav to the concert. At work, Valia approached Vladislav to invite him to the concert. He of course agreed, as these tickets were rare. However, when they arrived at the concert hall, Valia discovered that Vladislav had not come alone, but with another girl. When she approached them closer, Vladislav explained that they had tried to buy another ticket, but they were unsuccessful. He asked Valia how much she wanted to go to the concert. Then she replied in a sad voice that she didn't want to and gave them the second ticket before leaving. The next day at work, during the break, Valia, without a second thought, ran with a huge smile to play chess with Vasya. They played and were so happy that they didn't need anyone else. Valia invited Vasya to her place for New Year, and when midnight struck, Vasya finally gathered the courage to confess his feelings to her and proposed. The conclusion of this story states that in the pursuit of attention and love, we sometimes lose ourselves while trying to please those who do not appreciate us and do not see our true values. Intrigues, changes in appearance, and imitation of others are temporary tricks that rarely lead to true happiness. It is important to be open and sincere, to value oneself, and to surround oneself with people who love us for who we truly are. This is a story about self-discovery, self-confidence, and the value of genuine feelings. So, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and see you next time. Bye-bye.